Well, hey everyone, welcome to the Daily Devo. If I don't know you, I'm James, whether it's morning, afternoon, or nighttime, whenever you're watching this, I want to say welcome. So glad you're hanging out with us. We're going to dive right into two verses from Ephesians chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Let's jump into it. It says this: follow God's example. Man, we could just put a period right there and move on. Maybe just wrap this Devo up, because God was the ultimate example in everything we will ever experience in life. He handled everything perfectly. But moving forward, therefore, as dearly loved children, and walk in the way of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us as a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God. Simply put, when we walk in love, we act like God. When we behave like Jesus, we are walking in love. So to walk in love is to imitate God with who we are, what we say, and what we do. Because he was the ultimate example for you and for me. Not only was he the ultimate example, he was the ultimate sacrifice for you and for me. He sacrificed his very life for us so we could receive salvation. And so at the beginning of that verse, when he says, following God's example as dearly loved children, our children look up to us. Our children want to follow us and what we do and imitate us. And sometimes that's good. Yeah, and sometimes that's bad. Sometimes your children will rat you out. Just kidding. But you guys know what I'm talking about, really. And when it comes to God, we can follow his example as his dear children because he did it perfectly. He sacrificed for others. This is the example of who he was. All throughout the scripture, it's a thread of love and a thread of relationships and a thread of forgiveness and a thread of sacrifice. And so he sacrificed for others. I wrote down two questions that we can ask ourselves today, and those two questions are this. The first one is, describe a specific way in which you can demonstrate God's love to others. What are some ways, and who do you know, where you can be sacrificial with your life to help make a difference in what they got going on in their life? And second one is, how can you sacrificially serve and make a difference in their life? How can you serve another person? Jesus was the ultimate example of serving. He served the disciples and he served others on a consistent basis. How can you and I serve someone that we know today? I would love for this to be a constant thought in our minds throughout today, tomorrow, this week, this month, through the year. That we lay down ourselves, our preferences, and what we got going on and what we want to do to help out someone else. Because you see, God was the perfect example for us to follow, and we can imitate our perfect Father. Now, in that scripture verse, it talks about love, and if you go back into the Greek, it's called agape love, and agape love is an unconditional love. It's a love that is not selfish. It's a love that serves. And so that is the type of love that Jesus demonstrates towards us, and that is the type of love that we should demonstrate sacrificially to other people as well. Because all of life is about God and people. So one more time, who can you serve today? Whose life can you make a difference in today? Hey, if this Devo spoke to you, would you like it? Would you subscribe to the Sun Valley Devos, and would you share it so it can be a help and blessing to someone else? Have a great day. We'll see you soon.